The night it all came crashing down started like any other. Candlelight, expensive wine, my wife, Sophie, smiling across the table telling me how proud she was that our business was finally thriving. If only she knew. Behind that polished smile, I was juggling 3 other women, each from a different corner of my double life. There was Lena, the sweet marketing assistant who believed I was divorcing soon. Amber, the wild one who loved the thrill of secrecy. And Clara, my ex from college, the one who knew too much and still came back. I thought I was untouchable, that no one would ever find out, that I could keep living my life in compartments, husband at home, lover at night, and charmer during the day. But betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes, it's built by the very people who once loved you. The first sign that something was wrong came on a Monday morning. I walked into my office, coffee in hand, when the receptionist looked at me with a stare that lingered too long. Then my phone buzzed, a text from a private number. "You played us all. Tonight, your truth will burn." My heart froze. Who was this? Lena? Amber? Clara? Or all 3? I tried to shake it off, but every second that day felt heavier. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. My phone felt like a ticking bomb in my pocket. That evening, Sophie asked me to come home early. "Dinner at 7, she said. "Just us." I didn't know that those 2 words, "just us," would destroy me. When I opened the door, I froze. There were 4 women in my living room: Sophie, Lena, Amber, Clara, each of them sitting silently, waiting. On the table was my phone, my real phone, the one I thought I'd hidden perfectly in my car's glove box. Sophie's eyes were red from crying. Amber smirked. Lena looked heartbroken. Clara looked proud.
"So tell me, Daniel, which one of them were you with last night when you said you were working late?"
I didn't answer, because there was no answer that could save me. The trap had been planned for weeks. The 3 of them, Lena, Amber, and Clara, had found each other through social media. At first they just wanted to confirm if I was really lying. Then the plan grew darker. They would expose me, together, in front of the one woman I swore to love. They gathered screenshots, voice notes, photos, hotel receipts, everything. And now, here I was, the center of a betrayal that I had built with my own hands. Sophie threw my phone across the room.
"Do you even know what love means?"
"Now you'll know what betrayal feels like."
The room spun, the lights blurred, and for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one in control. The silence in that room was louder than any storm I'd ever faced. 4 women, 4 versions of my lies, and every one of them had finally collided. Sophie sat on the couch, tears staining her cheeks, while the other 3 stood behind her, like witnesses in a trial. Except this was no court, this was Judgment Day, and I was the accused.
Let's start from the beginning, shall we? The night you told me you were in New York for a business trip?
She pressed play. My voice filled the room, laughing, flirting, whispering into someone's ear. Amber stepped forward, throwing a photo on the table, me and her in the same hotel, the same night. Lena added another, each one a different date, a different lie, a different version of me.
"You lied to me for years, Daniel. Our anniversary, your late meetings, your sudden business trips, were all about them."
I wanted to speak, to explain, to defend myself, but the truth was uglier than any excuse. The 3 girlfriends had met 2 months ago, purely by chance. Lena had posted a photo of me at a rooftop bar. Clara saw it, recognized my watch, and messaged her. Amber joined in later, confirming the pattern. Within a week, the puzzle was complete. They compared chats, schedules, hotel bookings, and realized I had been running the same lines, same promises to each of them. They didn't go to war instantly. No, they planned it carefully. They played along, pretending everything was fine, while secretly collecting evidence. Their final act: expose me on camera in front of my wife and destroy everything I had built. Sophie rose from her chair.
"Do you know how humiliating it is?" she said, voice trembling. "To find out my husband has 3 other lives? From them?"
I reached for her hand, but she stepped back. Her eyes were full of disgust, not anger, not hate, but deep, crushing disappointment.
Amber smirked and threw a USB drive on the table. "It's all there," she said. "Every lie, every chat, every place you told us you loved us. You said you loved me too, remember? Maybe record that love speech again for Sophie."
Lena broke down crying. "I didn't want this to happen," she said. "I really thought he was different." Her words hit me harder than I expected. Because once, I really did care for her. But I'd buried that feeling under the thrill of control.
The door slammed as Sophie walked out. No words, no goodbye, just silence.
I tried to chase her, but Clara blocked my path. "You don't get to fix this, Daniel," she said. "You don't get to run this time."
Outside, Sophie's car sped away into the night, and I knew that was the sound of my world ending. Hours later, I sat alone on the couch, surrounded by photos, messages, and my own voice echoing through recordings. The same voice that once charmed, now condemned me. The clock ticked past midnight. I stared at the screen until the battery died, and in that darkness, it hit me. They hadn't destroyed me. I had done that myself. The night after Sophie left felt endless. I sat in the half-dark apartment, replaying everything in my mind. Every lie, every secret, every name whispered in the dark. The women who exposed me were gone, but not finished. By morning, the chaos had gone viral. Someone had leaked the footage, the confrontation, my stunned silence, Sophie's breakdown. It was everywhere, Twitter, TikTok, even the office group chat. And I didn't need to guess who did it. It was one of them. Clara. Lena. Amber. 3 women with 3 very different kinds of pain, and now, apparently 3 different agendas. I started getting messages from blocked numbers. The last one, that was Lena. I found her sitting alone at the cafe where we used to meet, her face pale, guilt written all over her. "You leaked the video?" I asked quietly.
No, it wasn't me, Daniel. I swear I didn't want to ruin you. I just wanted to know why you did it. Why all of us?
Before I could answer, Clara's voice came from behind me. "Oh, come on, Lena. Don't play innocent."
"You were the one who sent that video to Sophie. Don't act like you didn't."
You both leaked it, don't lie.
The 3 of them glared at each other. The alliance they'd built, the unity that had destroyed me, was crumbling before my eyes. "Enough. You wanted revenge. You got it. Now leave me out of it."
"Leave you out of it? Daniel, you ruined our lives. You don't get to walk away clean."
He ruined mine, but I don't want him dead.
There's more coming, Daniel. Someone's sending screenshots of our group chat to my company. They know everything.
What? Who would do that?
Maybe karma. Or maybe someone here who wants all of us gone.
That's when I realized it. This wasn't just revenge anymore. Someone had turned their revenge game into something darker. Someone wasn't just trying to destroy me. They were trying to destroy all of us. And whoever that person was, they were still out there. Watch. The morning after that chaotic confrontation felt like waking up in someone else's life. One that had been stripped bare, judged, and broadcasted to the world. Everywhere I went, whispers followed, colleagues looked away, neighbors stared through their curtains. My wife's family called to say she'd moved out of the city for her own sanity. And in the middle of all that noise, one thing became clear. The revenge wasn't over. That evening, I received a letter slipped under my apartment door. No sender, no address, just 2 words written in black ink. "You're next." My hands shook slightly. I checked the hallway. Empty. My phone buzzed at the same time. Unknown number. How does it feel to lose everything you love? I didn't recognize the number, but the message style, the punctuation, the tone, it felt familiar. I called Amber first. She denied everything, crying on the phone, saying her life was falling apart too. Then Clara, she didn't pick up. Lena sent one message. "Daniel, don't call me again. You've done enough damage." But even through the silence I could sense something else. Fear. Later that night, I went through old messages, screenshots, chats, calls, trying to piece it all together. I realized something. Someone had been using our private group to manipulate everyone. Fake accounts, messages sent from cloned profiles, conversations that never happened but bikin mawam. Persama di krewan natin, albing mawan. Ang pagsuertempo and so had been pushing each of us against the other. At midnight, I heard a knock on the door. My heart pounded. I grabbed a baseball bat and opened it slowly. And there stood Lena. Her eyes were red from crying. "Daniel, you need to come with me. It's not safe here." I hesitated. "What are you talking about?" She handed me her phone. A photo of Clara's car, wrecked on the side of the road. She's in the hospital. And before she crashed, she texted me something strange. She showed me the message. "He's not who we think he is. Someone used us." It wasn't Daniel. My breath caught. Who then? Lena looked away, her voice trembling. She didn't say the name, but she mentioned a man. Someone close to you. Someone who wanted all of us destroyed. That night, as we drove through the rain toward the hospital, my mind kept racing. Every betrayal, every fake text, every manipulated message, it wasn't random. Someone had planned this from the beginning, and as thunder roared outside, I realized the cruelest truth of all. I wasn't the only liar in this story. Someone else had been playing all of us. The hospital smelled of bleach and heartbreak. Machines beeped softly in the distance, marking the thin line between life and loss. Clara lay unconscious on the bed, her head wrapped in bandages, tubes running down her arms. I froze when I saw her. This woman who once swore she'd never hurt me, now looked like a broken doll in a white room. Lena stood beside me, silent. When the doctor left, she turned toward me with trembling lips. She's been in a coma since last night. The car crash wasn't just an accident, Daniel. Someone cut her brakes. Her words hit me harder than any betrayal ever could. Who would do that? Lena's eyes met mine, and for the first time, I saw real fear in them. She took out her phone, scrolling until she found a photo, one that made my blood run cold. It was a screenshot of a conversation between Clara and Michael, my business partner, and one of my oldest friends. In the messages, Clara was panicking. Clara, he's losing it, Michael. I don't want to do this anymore. Michael, too late. You already started. You know what happens if you back out. Clara, you said no one would get hurt. Michael, I said you wouldn't. Now do what you're told. My head spun. Michael, the one person who had stood by me when everyone else turned away. He was the one who had introduced me to Lena in the first place. The dots started connecting like lightning across a dark sky. He had access to my phone. He had access to my accounts. He had reason and motive. I clenched my fists. He used them, I muttered. All three of them, to destroy me. Lena swallowed hard. He wasn't just using them, Daniel. He was using you, too. The company, your money, everything. We rushed out of the hospital, and the moment we stepped into the parking lot, a message popped up on my phone. Michael, if you want answers, come alone. Old factory. Midnight. Lena tried to stop me, but I couldn't wait anymore. This wasn't about love or betrayal anymore. It was survival. That night, the abandoned factory stood silent under the storm. Rainwater dripped through the broken roof as I stepped inside, my phone's flashlight slicing through the dark. Michael! I shouted. My voice echoed against rusted metal walls. He appeared from the shadows. Calm. Almost amused. Daniel, he said softly, you really should thank me. You wouldn't have found the truth without me. You destroyed everything. My marriage, my name, my life. I didn't destroy it. I revealed it. You just didn't want to see what kind of man you really are. What are you talking about? You lied to all of them, used them, cheated them. I just gave them a mirror. They were too blind to see who you were, so I helped them open their eyes. And in the chaos, I took what you never appreciated. Control. My stomach dropped. You stole the company, I said quietly. Not stole, he corrected. You handed it to me, when you were too busy juggling your 3 women to notice. Lightning flashed, illuminating the smirk on his face, and in that second, I realized something else. This wasn't revenge, it was obsession. He'd wanted to be me, to take my company, my women, my life, and make me watch him do it. But this time, I wasn't running. Not this time, Michael, I said, stepping forward. You wanted war. Now you've got one. The night howled outside the broken factory as Daniel stood face to face with Michael, the man who had destroyed everything he'd ever loved. Rain dripped from the ceiling, landing on the concrete floor like ticking seconds before an explosion.
You've always been predictable, Daniel. Even your anger is easy to manipulate.
Daniel took a deep breath, forcing himself to stay calm. I used to think I was the problem, but now I see. You've been pulling the strings all along.
Michael laughed, low and sharp. Don't act like a victim. You had 3 girlfriends, Daniel. 3. and a wife who thought you were faithful. I didn't make you cheat. I just made sure the world saw it.
Then why go after them too? Clara, Lena, and Eva. What did they ever do to you?
Michael's smirk faded. His eyes darkened with something cold and bitter. They chose you. Every single one of them looked at you like you were worth something. You, the golden boy, the perfect man. You had everything handed to you. The company, the respect, the women. I built your empire with my blood, and you took all the credit.
So this is about envy?
Michael stepped closer, voice rising. It's about justice.
Before Daniel could respond, a shadow moved behind Michael. Lena, she had followed him despite his warning. Her hand trembled as she held her phone, recording everything. Michael didn't see her yet.
Daniel, realizing what she was doing, tried to keep Michael's attention. You think destroying me gives you justice? You think ruining lives will make you a better man?
I think it'll finally make me you.
Lightning flashed again, and in that moment, Lena's phone buzzed. Michael turned sharply, spotting her.
Lena, run!
But it was too late. Michael lunged, grabbing her wrist, forcing the phone out of her hand. It clattered across the floor, still recording.
You think you can expose me? You're just another one of his little mistakes.
Daniel's blood boiled. Without thinking, he charged forward, slamming Michael against the beam. The two crashed into the wet concrete, fists flying, rage exploding in every direction. Michael managed to pull a knife from his jacket, one quick glint of steel under the dim light. Daniel barely dodged the first swing. The blade grazed his arm, tearing through his sleeve. Pain shot up, but adrenaline drowned it out.
You can't win! You're finished!
Maybe, but at least I'll take you down with me.
He punched Michael square in the jaw, knocking him back. The knife skidded across the floor, landing near Lena. She didn't hesitate. She kicked it away, then grabbed Daniel's fallen phone and hit the emergency button. Sirens began to wail in the distance.
Narrator. Michael stumbled to his feet, blood dripping from his nose. Michael, you think the cops can save you?
Daniel. No, but they can stop you?
Narrator. Lena, her voice trembling, whispered, "It's over, Michael. You're on camera. Everything you said, every word, it's recorded."
Michael, no one will believe.
And narrator. The flashing red light from her phone proved him wrong. And narrator. For a second, his eyes flickered. Defeat, rage, disbelief, before he turned and bolted for the door. But police sirens were already blaring outside. He froze between two armed officers, their guns raised. Officer, OS, drop your weapon. Narrator. Michael didn't move. Rain poured down his face, mixing with tears and blood. Slowly, he lifted his hands. The sound of handcuffs clicking echoed like justice finally catching up. Lena exhaled shakily. Daniel stood there, drenched, exhausted and bleeding, but for the first time in years, free.
It's over.
He looked at her, the one person who hadn't betrayed him, and whispered, "No, it's just beginning." Because while Michael was gone, the world still saw Daniel as a monster. The headlines, the rumors, the betrayal, all still alive. Now Daniel had to rebuild his name and uncover one last secret. Who told Michael everything in the first place? The world outside had quieted, but inside Daniel's mind, a storm still raged. Michael was gone, but the lies he'd left behind were like landmines, ready to explode at any moment. The police had taken his statement, the videos were submitted, and his three girlfriends, Clara, Lena, and Eva, had all gone silent. But silence was worse than noise. It meant something was still brewing, still. A week later, Daniel sat in his office, the one place he once felt in control. His company's logo still gleamed on the wall, Brighton Technologies. He stared at it, feeling nothing.
His assistant entered quietly, placing an envelope on his desk. "It was delivered by hand," she said softly. "No return name."
Daniel frowned. The handwriting was neat, deliberate. He opened it and froze. Inside was a single photograph. It showed him and his wife Alice smiling on their wedding day. Behind them, slightly out of focus, was Michael, but the message scrawled in red ink across the picture made his heart stop. "You still don't know the truth, Daniel. Check her phone." He hadn't spoken to Alice since the night of his public downfall. She had vanished. No calls, no messages. The woman who once promised forever had disappeared when things went dark. Now, every instinct in his body screamed that something wasn't right. He grabbed his car keys and drove. Fast. To the lake house they used to share. It was the one place Alice went when she wanted to escape. The moment he stepped inside, he saw signs of life. Wine glasses on the table, a faint perfume he still remembered, and her phone, glowing on the counter. It buzzed with a message right as he picked it up. Unknown. It's done. He still doesn't know it was her. Daniel's blood ran cold. His hands trembled as he unlocked the phone, the password still the same as always, his birthday. There, in her messages, everything unraveled. Alice and Michael, months of hidden chats, plans, lies, and then, payments. Michael hadn't acted alone, he was funded by Alice. The betrayal hit harder than any punch. His wife, the one person he thought he could trust, had engineered the entire scandal. The leaks, the photos, even the girlfriends. She had made him fall apart publicly while playing the perfect victim privately.
A sound behind him made him turn sharply. Alice stood there in the doorway, calm, composed, a glass of wine in hand. "I was wondering when you'd find out," she said quietly.
Why? His voice cracked. After everything we had, why this?
She gave a sad smile. "Because you left me long before Michael ever showed up. You stopped seeing me, Daniel. You stopped loving me. And when he offered me a chance to make you feel what I felt, I took it."
You destroyed everything. No, she whispered. I returned what you gave me. Lies for lies. Betrayal for betrayal.
Somewhere, a narrator. He stared at her, the woman he once adored, now a stranger wearing his wife's face. Daniel, Michael's gone. The police have him. You're next. Narrator. Alice took a slow sip of her wine, then smirked. Alice, am I? You think the world will believe a man who cheated on his wife with 3 women? Or the grieving widow who tried to save him? Narrator. Daniel's silence was the answer. Narrator. He knew she had already set the narrative, and he was the villain in her version. Narrator. But this time, Daniel wasn't the man who would sit quietly and break. Narrator. He pulled out his phone and showed her the screen. The live feed from Lena's device, recording every word she'd just said. Narrator. Her smirk faltered. Alice. What? What is that? Daniel. Insurance. Narrator. When the police arrived minutes later, Alice didn't resist. Narrator. She simply looked at him and said, "You may have won the game, but you'll never escape the guilt." Narrator. He watched her being taken away, her red dress glowing under the flashing blue lights, and for the first time, Daniel felt the weight of it all. Narrator. Every choice, every lie, every woman. Narrator. He wasn't innocent, but he wasn't the monster they'd made him either. Narrator. He was something else. Something forged by betrayal and truth alike. Months later, Daniel stood by the ocean, wind whipping through his hair. The world had moved on, but he hadn't, not completely. Lena joined him, silent, but steady. She had been the only one who stayed. "Do you ever regret it?" He looked out at the endless water and replied, "I regret trusting the wrong people, but not learning who they really were. What will you do now?" Daniel turned to her, a new calm in his eyes. "Start over, but this time, love won't be a game."